It destroyed Iraqi T-72 tanks in the Gulf War and the now famous tank battle, using highly accurate long-range thermal sensors capable of destroying targets without being seen on their own. It patrolled the streets of Iraq in 2003. It is the main mechanized attack platform with a large amount of firepower and an intimidating presence when used as a deterrent. It was built in the 1980s as part of the infamous Big Five Army. But it was first dreamed up in the 1970s, and a bit old compared to newer tank platforms from places like Russia and China. Why isn't it lost? Why aren't 1980s platforms obsolete? Why hasn't the Army built a new generation of highly armored main battle tanks? With future wars expected to be far, fast, networked, expeditionary, disaggregated and driven by robots, is there still room for heavy armor? The answers to these questions are as compelling as they are strategically and tactically significant. Today's M1 A2 V3 and its newly emerged V4 variant, the Abrams, are pretty simple and straightforward, not the same tank they used to be. The platform is almost completely different from the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, and even more different in recent years. The reasons why are clear: new armor composites, sensors, ammunition, firepower, robotics, active protection, onboard computing and the latest Abrams are equipped with a newer and much higher forward-looking infrared sensor that can locate and transmit target information from ever greater distances, a major development given that future wars are expected to be much larger, more disaggregated and driven by more dispersed maneuvers. Long-range weapons, air-ground integration, unmanned systems, and a much larger network are expected to make concentrated groups of armored troops much more vulnerable to enemy attacks. Therefore, having the ability to find and destroy undetected targets during forward attack operations is naturally quite significant. Just as important, if not greater, sensor improvements are increasing exponentially through the use of newer applications of computer processing power and AI-enabled algorithms. Abrams today has a completely different computing system than before, and the previously separate collections of sensor data can now be collected, organized and transmitted much more quickly and efficiently than ever before. The technology continues to accelerate at lightning speed, meaning that the time it would normally take for commanders to locate and strike a variety of potentially scattered enemy targets is steadily being shortened. What used to take a few minutes can now take a few seconds under certain circumstances. Such technical capabilities to integrate EO/IR sensors with thermal sensors and fire control systems allow the Abrams tank, for example, to locate and destroy multiple enemy targets in succession.
Because of the undulating terrain,
Abrams were also, over the years, largely built to defend against newer forms of enemy attack. The platform has received a new additional armor configuration to defend against IEDs, as the Abrams is the most armored vehicle to survive counter-road clearing missions to ensure safe passage for more vulnerable vehicles in Iraq. Years ago, Abrams was given the so-called TUSK, Tactical Urban Survival Kit, a series of armor plates around him to protect the 50-caliber gunners emerging from the turret for mid-caliber machine gun attacks. While Abrams are inherently immune to small arms fire, shooters who are out to it destroyed Iraqi T-72 tanks in the Gulf War and the now famous tank battle, using highly accurate long-range thermal sensors capable of destroying targets without being seen on their own. It patrolled the streets of Iraq in 2003. It is the main mechanized attack platform with a large amount of firepower and an intimidating presence when used as a deterrent.